If every matte foundation you try looks dry, tight, or like you've aged 5 to 10 years by midday, this one is different. Matte and mature skin have a complicated relationship. Some of us still get shine during the day, and it's hard to find foundations that control that while still flattering our skin. And I've been reaching for this new foundation from Rare Beauty over and over for my mature over 50 combination skin with both normal dry and oily areas. I'm constantly testing foundations for review, so it takes a lot to impress me, and I usually review products and foundations in groups or roundups. So when you see a dedicated video for just one product, there's a reason for that. Something stands out. And no, this is not sponsored. I don't even get PR from Rare Beauty. It's easy, it wears beautifully, and I think it could be a real game changer if you're looking for a low maintenance foundation that keeps shine in check while not looking or feeling dry or stiff. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you're new, and let's get into it. The official name of this new foundation is the Rare Beauty True to Myself Natural Matte Long Wear Foundation. Now, if you've tried this already and you found you had some wear issues, it just didn't wear that well for you throughout the day, there could be a couple of potential reasons for that. I discovered that in the very beginning when I was first testing this out, and if you change those, it could make all the difference in the world. I helped out a couple of friends, one being another YouTuber who had some initial issues and now they love it as much as I do. I'll go through those during the video. This is $38 for 1 ounce. There are 48 shades. Now, when I ordered this during the Sephora sale, I ordered shade 13 Light Neutral, which is described as neutral peach. I always try to match foundations to my neck so everything is nice and seamless, and I have neutral leaning slightly warm undertones. It looked like it would be a great match, but when I received it, it was very orange. So I went in store to exchange it and find my proper shade match. It did seem like quite a few shades were sort of peachy orangey, which is probably why I ended up with a cool shade. The shade you're gonna see me apply and wear throughout this video and what's in this bottle is shade 11 Light Cool, which is described as a cool rose. It, in my opinion, is a perfect neutral shade. It's a great match for me. This is a cruelty-free, vegan, fragrance-free, alcohol-free, silicone-based foundation, and they say it's a non-drying, self-priming, self-setting foundation with breathable medium to full coverage and a weightless natural matte finish. The reason this doesn't dry your skin out while it mattifies is because they have this true comfort complex in here. This is a vitamin and antioxidant rich blend of hyaluronic acid, ginger root, and algae extract. It's supposed to strengthen your skin barrier and lock in lasting hydration and comfort. It's also supposed to blur, smooth, and look like your skin and be humidity and sweat proof. Seeing it on the back of my hand, the texture looks like it's going to be thick and hard to blend out, but it's actually a lightweight, whipped, airy texture that blends out beautifully and quickly on all areas of my skin without ever exaggerating dry areas with a sponge or a brush. So the first thing to note for this foundation to wear really well throughout the day is to not apply a thick or even moderately thick layer all at once. Apply less than you think you need. I pump it onto the back of my hand and blend a small amount at a time. So I'm starting with a thin layer. This really fuses the foundation with my skin. Now, even though a damp sponge and traditional foundation brushes apply this foundation just fine, my personal favorite way to apply it and what I've been using to apply it is this brush, which is kind of a thicker paintbrush style. It just works it into my skin so beautifully and makes it look flawless. I think because of the stiffer bristles, which are not scratchy at all, by the way. Now this one is from Chantecaille. You do not have to use this exact brush. I'll put some alternatives down in my description box for you. It reaches small areas easily and little corners and crevices and folds like by the sides of your nose really easily. There's no streaking. It really just buffs and melts it into my skin. I pick up a teeny tiny amount with it from the back of my hand, work it into the brush, and blend it out thinly, a section at a time, before moving to another section of my face. I usually blend out my whole forehead at once, but since I'm showing you half of my face for demonstration purposes, I'm only applying half of my forehead, but I still have this much foundation left on my hand before starting the other half of my face. And you can see how nicely evened out my skin tone is with such a minimal amount of product. Depending on how much foundation I grab with the brush, I can apply this from light coverage, almost like a skin tint, to pretty much full coverage, depending on my mood or the occasion. And it never looks heavy or cakey. Sometimes I'll tamp it or press it in with a sponge after I apply it with a brush just to mesh it further into my skin, but that's probably not even necessary. Once I have that initial thin layer down, I assess and see where I need more coverage, and I'll build it up in those spots only where I need it. On an everyday basis, it takes me a half to 2/3 of a pump to cover my entire face, maybe 3/4 if I'm going for full coverage, but that is really rare. So I just want to reiterate, when it comes to this foundation, wearing and just looking really good throughout the day, not to go overboard initially. Start with that thin layer that can really fuse with your skin, and then look and see where you need more coverage and lightly build there, or even spot conceal with your concealer. I feel like that could be said for most foundations though. After application, this gives my skin a soft, skin-like, natural matte finish that blurs my pores and texture beautifully. It feels weightless and comfortable, and it doesn't have that flat, dry, powdery look that some medium to high buildable, long wear foundations can have. Now, even though this is a self-setting foundation, some of us still have to set with powder. I get too much shine because of my high heat and humidity here in New Orleans to not set my face with some kind of translucent, finely milled powder. After finishing my makeup and setting with powder, it has a natural velvety matte finish. It doesn't look heavy or powdery or dry. It keeps my shine-prone areas in control. It's pretty maintenance-free in terms of blotting, unless, I'm just being super picky. My normal dry areas don't feel dry or tight, which is so nice for a matte foundation. My face just feels really comfortable. It's been very consistent for me day to day. Now, I've been wearing this mostly without a primer just because it wears really well on its own, although I did test it with various primers in the beginning when I was in the testing phase. It might look slightly smoother on my pores and texture because that's just what primers do, but it lasts through a long day for me either way. So a primer isn't a necessity for me with this foundation. Okay, this is really important when it comes to this foundation wearing well throughout the day. I wasn't sure exactly where to fit this in the video, so I guess this is as good of a spot as any. It's something you may not think about, but I helped a friend of mine out by sharing this with her, so I need to put it in this video. Now, when it comes to matte foundations, especially if you have dry or mature skin, many people will overcompensate or sort of double up on their skin prep or hydration, which makes sense because matte foundations can make our skin feel dry or tight as the day goes on. But in my experience with this foundation, you don't really need to do that because it's so non-drying and comfortable. In fact, when I was testing this out initially, those were the days where I had wear issues, where it broke up on me early. When you apply extra skincare and then apply a skincare infused foundations, sometimes that combination just does not work well. So I find that even though this is a matte foundation, just going about my normal skincare routine that I use with most of my other foundations is what works best with this matte foundation. After I shared this information with my friend with normal leaning dry skin who was using extra hydration steps with this foundation, she adjusted things and started also using her regular skincare, and now she loves this foundation. Now, we all have different skin chemistries, live in different climates, and have different skincare routines, so we're all going to have different experiences when it comes to complexion products. What works for me may or may not work for you, and vice versa, but this has been such a pleasant new foundation launch discovery right as these hot months are hitting that I have just been reaching for over and over. So if you have a similar skin type or you live in heat and humidity like I do, and you're looking for an easy to apply, daily wear, maintenance-free foundation that keeps your shine in check without leaving you feeling dry and tight, this could tick some boxes for you. Let me know if you've tried this and what your thoughts are in the comments down below. I hope you found this video enjoyable and helpful. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you're not already, if you enjoy foundation reviews, because I do them regularly. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye-bye.